In just 11 days, City of Portland and state staff are scheduled to clear the homeless encampment on Marginal Way. Right now, it is the city's largest collection of tents at more than 100. City staff say they are trying new ways to get people into shelter. Good evening and thanks for joining us on News Center Maine at 5:30. I'm Alex Haskell in for Zach Blanchard.
And I'm Chris Costa. For people who work, shop, or play in the Marginal Way area, that crisis has spilled over, affecting their livelihoods. I've spent months speaking to business owners who say they've had to make significant changes while they wait for the city and state to address the emergency.
The most significant impact it's had is on the mental health of myself and my staff.
The trauma of watching humans suffer every day is taking a toll.
Frustration is what comes to mind first, with a deep acknowledgement that it's a really complex problem. Yeah.
Kristen Mastrufis is one of several business owners who work right across the street from Maine's largest homeless encampment.
It compounded and it compounded and it compounded.
The emergency is at her doorstep, forcing her to make changes to keep her staff and customers safe.
We are so deep in an emergent crisis. We did what we could. We got Narcan on site. We held safety trainings for our staff, but we also don't have the tools. And so that's why we went to the city to ask for the support.
She's not the only one. As the encampment has grown, businesses have hired security guards to protect items from being stolen and people from getting hurt. In some cases, people from the encampment have entered those businesses carrying weapons.
I think that it has definitely grown to a point where it is becoming dangerous for the people who are in the encampment, as well as the people who are in the surrounding area. We see that.
City staff have been working to correct misconceptions about the Homeless Services Center. They say that effort has gotten more than 16 people into shelter beds in the last month.
We're trying our best to get them into any kind of shelter or housing. But that is, yeah. No, but we are also acknowledging that that's, 2 weeks away at this point.
The people living in tents are struggling with unmet physical and mental health needs, including substance use disorder. Neither the city nor the state has the infrastructure in place right now to help everyone who needs it.
This is a public health crisis, and we need to look at it like that and try a really holistic approach to address it for the individuals who are there, but also systematically. And city staff, I know, are working on this, throughout the day, throughout the week, 24/7, quite frankly.
Portland's Director of Health and Human Services has requested Governor Janet Mills to call in the National Guard because the city's shelters are full every night.
We can't wait. The call to action is now, and waiting is what got us into this crisis, right? It's a tall order.
Like the state needs to step in?
Absolutely. But I trust that if the Director of Health and Human Services is asking for that support, then she needs that support.
So we talk a lot about the people who are in the encampments for sure, but we are the Health and Human Services Department for the entire city of Portland, and that includes both the housed and the unhoused. And so how can we address this issue and really work to solve this for both communities?
Yeah.
Kristen knows both communities personally. Her loved one was once in that same position, homeless and addicted.
I know it's not easy. I know it's complex. But the complexity of what's happening in our community is going to require a lot of solutions.
Governor Janet Mills' senior housing advisor says her administration has put a total of $55 million into what's called the Emergency Housing Relief Fund since it was created in 2022. That money is intended to help expand support for shelters and other efforts to help people experiencing homelessness. In a statement, Greg Payne wrote, quote, "The governor remains deeply concerned about homelessness and Maine's housing crisis, and she's committed to continue working in partnership with the City of Portland and other municipal officials on both short-term and long-term solutions to these issues."